The 21st Lancaster Archery Classic in 2025 at the Spooky Nook Sports Complex here in Manheim, Pennsylvania. And a good look at the vendors that show up to this event. It's the largest indoor archery tournament on the East Coast, and we're getting ready for our Open Pro Shoot Up Finals. We have 8 shooters that have qualified to be here in a shoot-up format. We'll explain more about that in a moment. But right now, welcome to the tournament, welcome to Pennsylvania, and welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside world champ Steve Anderson. Now, Steve, so far this weekend has been awesome, and this is it. This is the last 8 shooters we have, 7 matches on deck to finish off 2025. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, this is the big kahuna of it all, right? Anybody and everybody who can really throw down with a bow is going to try to win this tournament here. We saw a really good Lancaster Classic last year, super exciting with 12 rings all over the place. We're hoping to see something that matches it this year.
Yeah, hold on to your hats. It's going to be exciting. This is the top 8 qualifiers. How did this happen? We had a qualification round, then elimination matches, and every points matter. We're going to explain that in a moment, but it's a bottom-up format, so that means the number 8 qualifier is going to shoot against the number 7. Whoever wins that match goes to shoot against number 6. That match, they're going to shoot against number 5, and all the way. We have had one archer in the history of this tournament to qualify in the 8th spot and win the tournament. But, Steve, it's all about this scoring system that we have here in the finals.
Right. So at the Lancaster Classic, a bit of a unique scoring system throughout all of the qualification and matches, where we shoot the X ring is an 11, then you have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, so forth. In the finals here, when we get on the big stage, we add in the 12 ring. So you've got a little 1.5 centimeter white dot that sits between the 7 and 8 line down in the bottom. Archers have to call it to shoot for it. They can shoot for it once per end. And last year in the Open Pro, we saw it getting shot at almost every single end by every single archer.
Let's not dilly-dally any longer. Let's get right to it. Here's PJ Riley.
All right, here we go. Our final division of the afternoon, folks. Open Pro. And here's a name you're going to recognize. Our 8th seed from Portland, Maine, the Dave Cousins. Dave's going to take on our number 7 seed, a past 2022 Classic champ from Spring Valley, Minnesota, Nick Kappers.
So Nick Kappers on his way to his spot. Dave Cousins already out and decided he was going to shoot in lane number 1 beforehand. Cousins, I mean, Steve Anderson, what do you say about Dave Cousins? I mean, what hasn't he won is more like it.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats in the sport, and a guy who kind of pioneered being a pro archer for a lot of us. So Dave looked like all business coming out. I'm going to call him all business Dave the rest of the day.
All business Dave. I would say probably what the last big win he had was the 2023 Kings of Archery. He was able to win that tournament, and as for Nick Kappers, he's a champion here, and he's also Pan Am champ. So the Pan Am Games happening every couple of years. It's like think about it as the Olympics just for the Americas. Right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we're getting after it. So Cousins starts off with a low left 9. Here comes Kappers, shooting a new brand of bow this year. Matthews, and crushes an 11 straight out of the box. Now this is 12 arrows per each match, 3 arrows per end. Highest score at the end wins. If we're tied up, we're going to go to a tiebreaker. We'll tell you all about that if we get to that point. The target is a 40 centimeter target. It is 18 meters downrange, just short of 20 yards.
So that center 11 ring is 2 centimeters, 10 ring being 4 centimeters, and 9 ring at 8 and so forth. A 40 centimeter target would represent if it had all of the scoring rings, all the way out to the 1. Here in indoor archery, they condense those down, so there's only a 6 ring just so they can fit 3 on the paper.
Ooh, Kappers.
Got a little bit of a rough start for the both of them.
All right,
Yeah.
first and down there for our
All right, let's get to PJ. Hear what they have to say.
Dave Cousins, welcome back to the Classic Final stage. You've been up here before.
Yes, I have.
How many times, do you know?
I have no idea, but this is 21st Classic. I've been to all of them, so I've been fortunate enough to make a few podiums and more than a few shoot-ups.
We appreciate that. Dave has multiple 659s here in qualification. Dave, can you run through your equipment for us?
Yeah, I'm shooting a Shibuya sight and the Shibuya scope, shooting an ETAC light, running new bars this year, AAE, Denali bars, super stoked with those. I actually did a full alliance with AAE right now, shooting their rest, shooting their vanes, running Victory shafts, ABB strings, and shooting the Super X. Carter releases as well. You've known that for years. So.
Dave is synonymous with Carter releases there. So, our first end down, it's looking like we have a 1-point, 2-point game there. We just upgraded an arrow. Nick Kappers with the 32, Dave Cousins 30.
All right, 32-30. And I think that one, Cousins, like if you look at the hole, that the paper, like the actual paper hole, that's not what scores. What scores is where the arrow is actually resting, and you can see that it was probably just a whisker shy of touching that line for Cousins. So 9, 11, 10 for Dave. Kappers comes out 11, 11, 10. We'll see if he can get back on track.
Dave's going for it right now.
Of course he is.
He's got to do some catch up, so he's going for a 12 right here. Kind of a make or break portion of the match.
That's 12.
Got it.
And Dave using the technique of actually
He moved
moving
his
his
side.
sight.
Yep.
Kappers sticking with his plan.
11.
Kappers solid 11. Looks
Yeah,
relaxed.
he's looking good.
Yeah, looks calm, looks relaxed.
11.
Back on track there for Dave. Picks up a 33 thanks to that 12. Kappers looking to match.
11.
All right, great shooting from
Here's
these
PJ.
guys. Curtis, call out that one. You know which one we want to hear about. There we go, 12 for Dave Cousins. Nick, welcome back to the Classic Final stage. You're our 2022 champ. How's it feel to be back up here?
I hate this tournament.
That was not the answer I was expecting, Nick.
I love this tournament. It's too nerve-wracking.
All right, appreciate that. Nick, can you run through your gear for us?
Yeah, the Matthews Title 38, True Ball XL, Achieve XP, sight, scope, and Conquest 625 bars, Kuyu Quiver, Black Eagle Arrows PS27s, True Ball Executive Release,
Which Knox do you got in there?
the AP Knox, or, yeah, IP Knox, yep, tack bands,
And match bowstring.
correct.
All right, well, it's working for you so far. You've only dropped 1 point through 2 ends. We have a 2-point game here. Nick Kappers 65, Dave Cousins 63.
2 ends to go, 2-point lead. And it looks like Dave is going to lead us off.
He's going for a 12. He knows he's got some ground to make up.
Cousins, of course, the only archer to win gold in every discipline of World Archery, indoor, outdoor, and World Field, World 3D. World Games, World Cup, 3 times Vegas champ.
11.
Cousins, an absolute legend of the sport, but also I've heard from several sources that his just general knowledge of bow equipment, how to make a bow work, is unparalleled.
11.
Yeah, he's certainly, you know, as much of a mechanic as he was a shooter, and that's why he got to be as good of a shooter as he was. He kind of need both sides of it, especially, you know, coming up in the era he did, where you were probably doing a little more work on him than some of the stuff now. And, you know, he shot a lot of different brands and always been competitive.
Yeah.
So unfortunate to see that 7 here. That's a little bit of the issue with, you know, when you trail early and you've got to go for it and then you don't get it, it kind of is the rest of the match becomes a formality at that point.
Yep. And Kappers not happy either. He's not even concerned about the score as Kappers. He's just concerned about the score he's shooting. And so he throws an eye roll that nearly saw both his eyes leave his head.
Yeah, Kappers looking to get it going. He's won this tournament. He knows what it needs. He knows you pretty much need to be next to clean, right at it. You know, you need to be looking at a 132 or better to win these matches now.
Now in this Open Pro category, the top 64, so it cut to 64. So if you weren't in the top 64, you got to shoot your 660 round and then go home. But for Nick Kappers, he was your 33rd qualifier at a 653. Keep in mind, 660 was the top score. That was shot by 3 of our athletes. But Kappers came in at a 653, which put him 33rd. And then you add up his 132, 131, 131 in elimination matches, and that gave him the 1,047 points that got him 7th place qualifier. And Dave Cousins was actually just a couple places behind at a 651, and then was able to really shoot some unbelievable 132, 131, 132 in his 3 different elimination matches. That got him into the top 8 with a 146. So the spread between the top qualified archer, Jacob Slusarz, and your number 8 qualifier, Steve, is only 9 points total. It's pretty.
Yeah, and it looks like you know, their initial seed versus their seed here in the shoot-up was darn near the same. So no one really got a chance to move much in the matches. You know, pretty much everyone, you can drop 1 or 2 and move forward, but that's about all that anyone did.
Yeah.
So here's Dave going for another 12. See if he can get something rolling. And I think he got the 12 there. So he's going to need some luck still from Kappers, or some bad luck from Kappers, however you want to look at it.
11. Hit it.
And if you're curious as to like the targets you're shooting, it's your choice. Now when you're in the qualification rounds, you would need to label them targets 1, target 2, and target 3 just with a pen on the actual paper face, and you have to shoot them in that order. But when it comes to telling you which order you need to shoot them in, you can do anything you want. You see that Kappers likes to start with the top one and go down. Dave starts on the left, goes up, and then comes back down to the right.
10.
Kappers has an interesting shot technique. He shoots hinge release, but he basically punches it. There's, I think, one guy in the world who does that successfully.
Kappers.
That's the one.
You almost fooled me there for a second. I was like, who?
11.
Yeah, it's like he just kind of collapses his hand and he's rotating it.
Just kind of grabs a handful of throttle.
Yeah. So Nick Kappers with a successful victory. And for Kappers, he missed 4 points in that match. He goes 32 in the first end, 33 max points in the second end without calling the 12 button, 31 in the third, and then 32 in the fourth. Now, Steve, you and I both know that he's going to need a lot more of that to keep advancing through this field, is Kappers, but so far so good.
Yeah, I think every 128 here on out is going to sit down.
And here's PJ.
And Nick Kappers is going to move on to take on our number 6 seed from Castle Rock, Colorado, Jacob Pettit.
All right, so Jacob Pettit coming out. And Jacob Pettit, he says that his biggest accomplishment in archery is being Bodie Turner's Reading partner. So, you know, that's quite an accomplishment. What got him into archery was shooting with his look, I'm not joking.
Sure enough.
Yeah. Pettit's had some success in his day. He's definitely a talented shooter, but shooting with his dad got into it, and he just enjoys being with his friends in the competition of its 8th year shooting for Pettit. One thing I will note, though, about Nick Kappers, Pettit moved Kappers off his spot, moved him over to the left target, target number 1, is that Kappers added some weight to his rear stabilizer.
Yeah, I just watched him put about 4 ounces on, thereabouts. That, yeah, see how that works out, because that can change your sight in a little bit, too.
I can see 1 or 2 ounces, but 4 ounces can be pretty big. Maybe Nick feels like that the bow is kind of dropping out of the bottom on him, and maybe he's trying to pop a wheelie.
I'm going to guess, I don't know. That
That's
a lot
the way
of
my
people
simple
who think
mind
rear
uses it.
stabilizer weight helps you when you're dropping out the bottom, but it doesn't.
Okay.
It just wants to move the grip away from your hand a little bit. So I don't know, maybe he thinks he's pushing the bow a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of disengage from the grip. Hard to say.
Hard to say. But I can tell you one thing. He's practiced it at home. He knows what those adding those 4 ounces are going to do.
I'm going to guess at some point this week he had them off the bow. And it, you know, felt like, hey, these need to go back on right now.
Yep. All right, so Pettit, little right side 10.
11.
So as you see these archers coming through here in our Open Pro category, the 2025 Lancaster Archery Classic, you'll know that their outdoor disciplines tend to be a little bit different. Nick Kappers comes from the USA Archery target world, or the 50-meter world, where he's used to shooting 72 arrows in qualification and, you know, 15 arrows per elimination matches many times. So if Kappers is able to make a run up towards the top of the field, the arrow volume shouldn't bother him too much. Here's PJ.
Year before.
A long time ago, 8 years ago.
8 years ago. All right. Well, how's it feel to be back?
It's good. It's way different than 8 years ago.
Was that before we had this setup? All right. Yeah. What's the difference? Talk about, I think we were out there. Now we're in here.
Lighting's a bit different. It's really dark and really bright up here. Trying to get used to it at first, but it's a lot of fun. I like it in this area more.
All right. Tell us about your equipment. What are you shooting, Jacob?
I got gas bowstrings, shooting a PSE Supra RTX. Got True Ball XL, sight and release, XL bars, specialty peep.
And your arrows
Easton,
with the bite or knock.
Biter Knox AE vanes.
All right. Congratulations to making it to the classic stage, Jacob. After our first end, it's a 1-point game, 33-32 in favor of Nick Kappers.
All right, so that one single point, we'll see how that plays out as the match rolls on. We're getting ready for our second end of 4. Pettit to lead us off. Colorado native who hasn't been here in 8 years. Boy, Steve, you're getting old. I remember when he was on the stage 8 years ago.
I don't remember that. But yeah, he was a young talent. I remember that.
11.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's only been shooting 8 years, according to his card, so it must have been like the first year, his breakout year.
10.
Ooh, dropped that one low. Was able to catch it, though.
11.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. He's just got that dead fish release, yeah.
Yeah.
Just gets back there and turns it over. He's shooting, it's effectively like shooting a trigger release, but ring finger trigger. You know, it's kind of what he's playing it as. Gets it on the edge and then just finishes it with the ring finger. Well, it gets it. Gets it. So Kappers 11 keeps the lead. 10 to tie.
Yeah. Is he running? Did you hear a click?
I think I heard a click. Yeah.
It's like click bang.
Yeah. Kind of. Click, bang.
This is why I love this tournament so much. The fact that Pettit drops 1 point to Kappers and then goes, okay, I'm just going to go make it up. A couple different ways to get to a 33.
I like that. That's the first thing you mentioned.
No, great guy. I mean, he deserves to be up here himself.
Nick Kappers having a chat about his coach, the shooter in the coach's box. A surprise who didn't make the top 8. It's Kyle Douglas who is in his box. The PA's talking to him right now.
Experience up there. You've been up on this stage. You've been up on every stage.
Yeah, everybody hates this stage.
How do you get used to it? You guys are pros, so you have to work at it more than anybody. Is there any way to prepare for that?
You don't ever get used to it. You just deal with it, and you find out, you know, what happens to your body under pressure and ways you can deal with that.
All right. Well, we have here still a 1-point game. Nick Kappers is clean through 2 ends, 66-65.
It's pretty crazy to think that the talent that you have, how about just straight up Vegas winners and coaches here that didn't make this.
Right. Yeah. There's. This is finals. It's different from a lot of others we've seen the last few years. These are all great archers. Do not get me wrong. They're not all the household names that you expect. If you were to put money on who's going to make it, the 2 in the coach's box you would put down as 2 who would be in the final shoot-off. But there's so much talent. Any given match, you know, 1 through 64 can win. That's the truth of it.
Yep. Especially with elimination matches.
Yes, and I've seen 64 beat 1 here, so it's a real thing.
All right, so go toe to toe in the middle. So Pettit right now, head down in the draft of Kappers. Kappers needs to.
10.
There it is. Now
Okay.
we're even.
And Pettit's already called for the 12. on
Yeah, I
his
think
third arrow.
he'll probably change his mind here.
Right, just because he called it, it's irrelevant. If he wants to go for the 11, he can still do it. Doesn't need to uncall the 12.
He
went for it.
For reasons unknown to me, he shot the 12.
So Kappers and his coach having a
They're
conversation.
deciding what to do.
Yeah.
Because Kappers is going to be down. That 9 is really a 10. So he's going to be at 87. A 12 would tie it. Yeah, he made the right move here, I think.
I agree with you. Let it ride, and then only use the 12 when you have to use the 12.
Yeah, 1 point. If you're down 2 with 2 ends to go, you got to shoot at it. If you're down 1, you know, push it to the final end.
So upgrading that 9 asterisk to a 10 is going to make it a 1-point game. And Pettit right now is sitting on 2 10s and 2 12s. Kappers has 1 10. The one he, where is his 9? Did he drop that one a little low? Kappers.
Negative.
Yeah, it's upgraded to a 10, so it's 1 point difference. So Pettit's capable of shooting 10s, but he's also settling in 11, 11, 12 for a max 34 points for Jacob Pettit.
Yeah, he's 100% on the 12 ring right now. So I don't remember who was going first. Do you recall who our lead archer was?
It was Kappers.
Okay. Yeah, so he's in a precarious situation here where
Well, no, last end it was Pettit. Because remember, Pettit shot the 12, and then Kappers had the option to follow it up with the 11.
Okay. So does that order remain the same?
Jacob should be able to make the choice whether he shoots first or second because he's leading.
Okay.
And so he's going to go first.
Not how I would do it, but I would always want to go second. But, you know, everyone's got their different way about handling it.
Unless Pettit's plan is to hit the 12 ring no matter what on the 3rd arrow anyway.
Nah, I don't think that's it.
11.
I think it's just hit a couple 11s. Yeah.
10.
Going second, you do put a lot of pressure on yourself if you have to have that arrow in the 11 to tie or whatever. Now he's got, okay, Nick's got a 10, so gives him a little more breathing room. Oof. So Nick has called for the 12.
Nothing but 12s or 11s for Pettit in the last 6 arrows.
So that guarantees a tie. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it's 3 points. It's 3 points.
Oh, yeah, this game's over.
Yeah, it's out of reach. He gets the 12, but that's just for the crowd. It was that 10.
Yeah, I forgot he opened up with a 10. Yeah.
So for Nick Kappers, he'll take a seat. Here's PJ.
Nick Kappers caught the 12, but that's going to leave him 1 point short. He's going to finish in 7th place, take home $1,000 from us. Let's hear it for Nick Kappers. So, Jacob Pettit earns the right to move on. He's going to take on our number 5 seed from Des Moines, Iowa, Roland Deason.
Well, if you haven't heard of Roland Deason from Iowa, let me put it to you this way. His major accomplishment in archery, he says, is today. But you better remember him. He's been around before. And that headband will show you. Oh, yeah.
He's got that Cobra Kai look going. Do you think he tied it on right before he walked out, like ceremoniously?
He's had it on all day, for all 3 days.
Just doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop, yeah. And you know what got him into archery was he saw a NASP tournament on TV. And his shop teacher was the coach. So that's how he got into shooting archery 10 years ago. Roland Deason.
Very cool.
Des Moines, Iowa. I have a feeling Des Moines is a little chilly right now.
Oh, yeah, they don't have any lights. That would probably help.
Oh, they just started the clock, but the targets are in the dark right now, so.
Oh, yeah, they should probably.
False start.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the light's on the target, so we have our cracked cruiser on it. And just like that, the targets are lit again. There we go.
We are back.
Yeah.
We are back.
Good for the archers to recognize that we don't shoot in twilight. We have outdoors occasionally, but we're indoor. All right, here we go. Pettit kicks us off. 30-second shot clock. 18 meters from where Pettit's standing to the target face. A nice, long, confident, steady hold. Roland getting off it early. Roland was your 21st qualifier after the 660 round with 655. 132, 130, 131. Accumulated a total of 1 more point than Jacob Pettit. 1,048 points over the weekend before we get to this match.
11.
Good shots.
This might be one of those matches where the 12 ring starts getting called pretty early. But we'll see. It's not like last year thus far. Last year, some of those heavy hitters came out and they knew like, I'm going to hit it right now. I'm going to put the pressure on you from the jump.
Yeah.
These guys are still kind of waiting to see who makes the mistake. Right? So now Roland's probably going to do it next end.
Yeah, right.
All right,
That's
let's
my
hear it
guess.
for these guys.
I could be wrong.
Here's PJ.
Roland, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm all right. Is this your first time on the finals stage?
Yes, sir, it is.
Have you been coming to the Classic a while?
This is actually only my second year.
Second year. All right. How's it feel to be up there?
Pretty great. My legs shook on the first one really bad. Second one, surprisingly, a little bit less, but yeah.
By the third one, now you're ready to go, right? Just like shooting at home.
That one I missed, so I don't know about that. We'll see.
All right, Roland, take us through your equipment here. What are you shooting?
I got a Matthews Title 40 bowfinger sight, X-Focus 365 scope, or lens, shrewd scope, AAE Freak Show rest, Halcyon stabilizers, short shot weights, Easton X27s, AAE IP Nox, stand release.
Strings, what do you shoot?
I build my own strings, actually. Archery Field and Sports, the shop I work at, Archery Field and Sports.
All right, there you go. Builds his own strings, like to hear it. All right, after our first end, we have a 1-point game. Jacob Pettit, 33-32.
And Steve, this is one of those tournaments where, you know, you have local legends that are in the regions. Right?
Yes.
They're really good shooters. Maybe they don't have the funds to travel. Maybe they have a job they enjoy and they don't have the time off. And if you can come to a tournament like this and put on a show like this is the beginning of being a household name.
Yeah.
And maybe Roland doesn't have the ambition to go shoot World Archery or, you know, but it's good to see him here in his second appearance and first time on the big stage.
I made it a number of years ago into the shoot up, and I remember one of my first matches was against Doug Williams, a guy from out here. Like you said, local legend. Everyone, you know, he was the hometown favorite. Everyone was definitely against me there, but he's a super cool guy, and he's still competing. But yeah, you're right. This is where guys can build their following and get their, you know, especially they're gonna have everyone back home cheering for them.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
on board.
Oh, yeah. Right now, Iowa's going, Des Moines, Iowa's going crazy. The shop where he works, you've got people right now sitting going, well, no kidding, the guy crushes it every single week at league night.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole, you know, group of people from his league or his club or whatever that are enjoying watching this.
So far, Pettit's clean, 33 for both ends. And Roland has dropped only 2 points.
Jacob Pettit, back-to-back 33s.
Oh, PJ having a conversation with Jacob.
Throw down some 12s. You're feeling pretty good.
Oh, it's shaky. Real shaky.
So even with the nerves, though, you're able to hit what you want to hit up there.
We try to. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned, but we try.
All right. Well, it is definitely working. We've got a 2-point match, it looks like. 66-64 in favor of Jacob Pettit. We've got 2 ends to go. Let's hear it for these guys. Best in the world.
You know, if you're Roland in that situation and Jacob had said, yeah, I'm feeling really good, I would feel not good about that. I'd be like, oh, shoot, he's feeling good. He's confident.
Right, so you're
Instead
saying use your platform to
Yeah.
get into the shooter's head.
Right, yeah.
Your yeah, I agree with you.
And your own head.
Yeah.
Lie to yourself. Even if you feel terrible, I would probably say, you know what, yeah, I'm feeling good.
I like watching Pettit's thumb. Like he literally is coming from Philadelphia, but it's really smooth to get to Mannheim, and then he gets on the button.
It's an east to west, huh?
I don't know. Watch Pettit. See, he just landed in Philadelphia Airport. Here he comes. He's driving west. Boom, he just landed at Spooky Nook. And bingo. And it's the same every time. And it's, you know, something that he developed in his shot process. It's probably helps him to aim and stay focused.
Right. So Roland's clicking his sight, so he's about to hit the 12 button. There it is. He called it.
Right, Jacob settles into a shot. He's aiming. He comes to the button. He gets contact, and then it's kind of like, all right, now we're ready to roll.
Yeah. So if you're Roland and Jacob had shot a 10 right there, are you still going for the 12? Or are you going? I'm going back to the 11.
I'm going back to the 11.
Yeah.
But he got the 12. Beautiful.
Keeps it a 1-point game.
But see, that's the thing. When he called the 12, right? If Jacob had shot the 10, then he just aimed.
Just go.
Well,
back
that's
up.
the problem with moving your sight.
His sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough on the streets.
But my question right now is, Okay, so he shot the 12 and then immediately got after adjusting his sight back. You've done it, I'm sure, before. I've done it before in field archery where you go from target to target and forget to make a sight adjustment. That would be the process of practicing at home. Like, I just shot the 12, let me get on my sight immediately and adjust right back to where my normal shot is. That would probably be the one thing I would most be concerned about adjusting a sight. You know, going from aiming in the middle to hitting the 12. I would be talking to my coach saying, you better, when I'm done shooting this,
tell me.
You better ask me again, did you move your sight back?
The correct way.
Yeah, the correct way.
Because if it's 30 clicks and you put 30 clicks in the wrong way, you know, you put them in the right way the first time and the wrong way the second time, now you're way off. Going, oh crap, what did I do? So, here we go. Pettit leads off, so Roland has the opportunity here to shoot a 12 to tie with the final arrow if necessary.
Roland. Roland.
Okay.
This is exactly what Roland needed.
Yep, can tie it right here with an 11.
11.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, this is exactly the strategy I thought Pettit was going to use. He's on the 12. And Roland's already pressed the button as well.
Roland has moved his sight.
So he's going for the 12. He's committed to. Now, there is 26 or
30 seconds. He
on the
could
shot
move it
clock.
back.
He could move it back.
That's a 12.
But now he's got no choice. This to take us into a tiebreaker, or Pettit's going to advance.
Just
Just high. So Roland Deason, your 5th place seed is going to be eliminated, and Jacob Pettit, your 6th seed, will roll on to the number 4 seed, as number 8, number 7 have already been knocked out.
6th place finish for Roland Deason. He's going to take
Roland Deason.
1,200.
Remember that name.
Let's give it up for Roland Deason.
See if he's able to duplicate coming back his 3rd time. The 22nd annual Lancaster Archery Classic next year. But let's go to PJ.
He earns the right to move on. Next screen. To take on our number 4 seed from Slovenia, Tim Jevsnik.
Wow. So Tim coming to the stage, and he's tall. Good shooter. 3rd in Vegas before. What motivates him to stay in archery, he's been around for 10 years already, is his wish to improve every day. And how did he start archery? He watched American Western movies. That's probably the first time I heard that.
Yeah, I have not seen a lot of Hoyt compound bows in American Western movies with 30-inch stabilizers, but he found his way there.
All right.
Yeah, Tim's good young talent. I don't remember how old he is. He can't be a whole lot older than 22 or so. Very talented archer, shot good scores. He's capable of a lot. Not as much experience as others, but has all the ability.
And he can be explosive behind the bow too. So for him, he totaled 1,050 points to get here, tied with Christopher Perkins, who's P3, but he missed his first X on his 15th arrow, where Perkins missed his first X on his 26th arrow.
11.
Good start for Tim there.
And Tim makes a slight adjustment, just a confidence click, trying to move that sight over from the left to the right. Pettit
Yeah,
sent
some
that just as
pipes
something,
hitting the deck or something.
something hit the floor and bounced around just as Jacob got rid of that one. So great focus.
Yeah, fortunate there.
Jevsnik using a 3-finger release, but only choosing to use 2 fingers of it.
It's actually the way I like to shoot a thumb button on the rare occasion I shoot one. It's just 2 fingers. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 finger, but yeah, not a bad plan. Some guys will shoot a 3-finger will be angled slightly different, so they'll get the 3 and shoot it as 2. Yeah, his looks like a thumb button.
Yep. Looks like he's got one of those like triangle buttons too.
Yeah, the little 3D printed.
Yeah. Let's get the PJ.
Pretty good. All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Tim, so first time on the Classics final stage.
Yes, it feels great. Just like I watch on YouTube many times, and it feels good to be here by myself here.
All right, excellent. Can you run through your equipment for us?
So I shoot a Hoyt Preform X with XL scope and a sight, biter rest, and ramrod stabilizers and Gold barrows.
Gold barrows, what strings you got there and what knocks are you shooting?
Gas bowstrings and biter knocks.
All right, perfect. Tim, thank you for coming over to the Classic, and congratulations on making the final stage. Looks like both our archers shot 33s that first end. We got a tie match.
Just a point of clarification, it's the Concept X of which he's shooting. That's the Hoyt bow. But obviously you can see that in his hands. Steve, you know, Tim's a pretty tall guy. What do you think his draw length is?
It's 32 inches. Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that the range too?
It's the top end of that bow, yep. Same as what I'm using. He's kind of tall.
He's kind of tall.
He's kind of tall. He's like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. I think he just looked over us at me.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
Eyes on Pettit. Another 11 for him. He is just in the groove right now.
Yeah, Pettit's looking good. He's got to be feeling good.
Yeah, see that 3D printed barrel he has on there? It's like a
Just
TriStar.
left. That left side is getting people.
Yeah.
So he's moving his side. I'm telling you, everyone's coming in here and just missing on that side. My guess is it's actually the bright lights that are over our heads.
I don't think so.
We got one light. Something. It's the volleyball players.
Yeah, they're shaking the ground. All those big spikes.
That one's
Yeah,
in.
so that one's in.
Yep. Left side though. He's still moving it. Maybe. Let's have a look. I think that's going to be a 10. It's close.
All right, couple clicks, making it work. Oh. Oh, okay. So let's get to PJ. He's got a question online. He's answering, which is peeps.
And what do you got in it?
I think it's a 1 clarifier with a 8th, maybe 16th. That's it.
16th. All right. Tim, same question. What peep setup are you shooting there?
The previous model from Specialty Archery with a red clarifier inside.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very, very personal thing is the peep sight. A lot of it has to do, it's going to depend on how long your rail is on your scope or your sight and what size scope you shoot, how far away the string angle is from your eye. And then on top of that, how good your vision is. You know, what power lens are you going to use? So that would define the clarifier. And then when you get to like my age, Steve, you don't have a choice. One thing is going to be blurry than the other. So you have to make a choice with your clarifiers. Am I going to see the pin or the dot clear and the target fuzzy, or am I going to see the pin fuzzy and the target clear?
I kind of accept a reasonable amount of fuzz in the target as long as it remains round. I can live with that.
Yeah, that's
I
the way
need to
I
be
am
able to
now.
locate my aperture subconsciously, though.
Yeah, I agree.
My aiming aperture, whatever that is, pin, dot, whatever. So 1 point game. Tim did get that one.
11.
Yeah, he got upgraded too. So Pettit now just on a run. That's 7 11s in a row. Tim, on the other hand, is sitting at the last.
11.
So that's 3 11s in a row for him. Pettit just smoking him right there in the middle. Steve's going to class that one from our position. He's called an 11, but a 10. 11 liner. Pettit's is without question.
I think Tim's is in. It's kicked down kind of in a strange manner. I think that one's in as well.
Just had a little bit of movement. Pettit's not perfect so far. 333s in a row. Are we going to see our first match cleaned by Pettit?
Tim, who's your coach in the box?
That looks into me.
His name is Jevsnik, pretty good archer.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that one's definitely an 11. That one will be upgraded. So these two arrow calls are going to keep Tim's close to within 2 points.
Yeah, I think we should have a 1 point game, right? Or something. Am I missing something somewhere? No, 1 point. Should be at 98.
Should be. It could be. Yeah, should be a 98.
Just like practice. Joseph Kuzinski, yes, he is.
And that's on so far, though.
There it
Yeah,
is.
they're both upgraded to 11s. So there's only been, out of 18 arrow shot, there's only been 110 so far, and that was Tim's first arrow of the second end.
Yeah, Tim's going to have to go for a 12 here if Jacob doesn't give him anything. And he's shooting second. That's advantageous. Both hanging that left side still. They're both in a pretty good hole already, so it's hard to. I think they're both solid 11s, but I just got on the glass and couldn't really tell. Judge is going to have to recreate that line. It's a good shot from Jacob.
Oh,
You can
12's
see a
called
good
now
one from him.
Yeah. So 12 is called now by Tim.
He must want to shoot at this target. All right, that's game. I just, they need to save that for the last arrow and see if they, get a point back on this arrow.
That's what I was thinking, especially because Pettit had the perfect round, right? Like kind of hanging over his head.
Yeah.
But he gets it. So
There's no pressure now. It's easy.
Yeah.
So it's you gotta let them get to the very end, and I guess I don't know. It's their call. They're the one on the stage.
11.
it's a heartbreaker. That 7 is a heartbreaker for sure. But yeah, the first perfect match by Jacob Pettit coming in at 132. Now there is the possibility that you could shoot a 136. We've talked about this before. But without calling the 12s, Pettit just lines them all up. Just ones across his scorecard.
Now Pettit's got a shot at the podium here.
Sure does.
Now Tim, he'll finish in 5th place.
All right. Jacob Pettit is still alive, moving on to take on our number 3 seed from Athens, Ontario, Canada, Christopher Perkins.
All right, here comes Christopher Perkins. Don't call him Chris, hashtag. He was a bow hunter. And he really enjoys his friends and family, and he just loves the sport of archery all around. Not his only sport. He likes other competitive shooting sports.
Good to see Chris back in a final. You know, he had a couple of years that were not what he was hoping for, I think, but
Yeah.
still as talented as ever. You know, it's just different when you're turned 30.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
different.
and you know, I know he was fighting. He and I talked maybe a year or two ago, and I think he was 31 or 32 then, and he's like, "Man, my elbow hurts, and you know, stuff wears out." And so he's kind of reinvented himself a little bit.
Well, it's
Shoot a
really
little
impressive to
different
see
setup.
because since that time, the level of archery in the last couple of years has just accelerated. And it's like, who's coming with us and who's going to be left behind?
Yeah, because if you're you know, it used to be like when we were at Nîmes a few weeks ago, it used to be if you shot like a 597, you're top of the heap. And now a lot of times you shoot a score like that, you're like 6th, 7th, 8th place. So the guys who were always competitive, but you know, shot scores that like here were 652, 653, they're getting left behind.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just full of talent. And you take a shooter like Chris, I think he shot 657 here. It used to be that would be tops, and he was, yeah, he shot a 657. That was 10th place.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's just not the same game. So he's back, he's competitive. Hopefully he's feeling good about things. How do you not see Pettit's arrow being a 10? I think that's an 11. But
Yeah, especially
over here.
well, the second one, it's close.
Looked pretty solid to me.
Ah, Perkins definitely with a 10 left.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we got one close arrow for Jacob. See what our judges say. Christopher Perkins.
Here's PJ.
The classic final stage.
Thank you very much, BJ.
How's it feel to be back up here?
Feels pretty good. I mean, it's been a minute. I'll put it that way.
2015 champ, but were you here in between then?
Oh yeah. 2012 was the first year I think I started shooting it, and I don't think I've missed one since.
All right, we appreciate you coming out. Chris, run through your equipment for us.
Yeah, I'm running a Title 40, Easton 2712s, QAD Tri-Arrest, Excel XP sight, AVX 31 scope, specialty peep, executive true ball release, flex fletch vanes, biter knocks.
Do you know the guy who came up with that executive release?
Yep, I know him quite well, yeah.
You got your own signature on it. All right, Christopher, we have so Jacob Pettit's, we're both upgraded to 11s, so we have a 1-point lead. Jacob Pettit, 33-32.
Yeah, so with Pettit's upgrade, that's going to leave 1 point. And so far, man, Pettit's been on an absolute tear.
Yep.
Hasn't missed an 11 in, well, at least 5 ends. I think it's over. I think
been a
it's
while,
6. Yeah, 6 ends.
He's into his first match or whatever it was, but shooting it really well. He's comfortable. That's a dangerous guy when they've been up there a while. You know, he's got a little bit more to go through to get to the top, and they're all really, really good, but I like the position I'm in if I'm Jacob Pettit.
And the process just looks identical.
Yeah, his timing is ideal. You know, when you're in rhythm, you don't always have to be aiming as good as people think these guys do. shot will break. As I've said, you know, a few times on this broadcast, you get a lot of the subconscious actually firing the shot. So you don't have to aim great. What you want is aim slow. You don't want unexpected movements, and you want that movement to be in a pattern that's kind of repeatable. So, you know, if you need to fight the bow one way and one way only, then it's a lot easier than a bow that is one to move around on you like a snake in your hand.
10.
There's the first 10 for Pettit. So we are even. Steven, kind of.
Even Stevie.
If.
Shout out to your daughter home watching.
Yeah. Chris didn't capitalize, so still a 1-point game. Matching 10s.
And Christopher Perkins has called for the 12.
Yeah, he's not going to wait around.
All right, so Perkins confident in his practicing at home with the 12. If he gets this, we go all tied.
I'm not sure I would do this yet, but yeah, so that kind of ends the match effectively. You know, we've got 6 arrows to go, and now it's a sizable difference.
Here's PJ talking to Perkins.
If anybody shoots true ball Excel stuff, you should have a good idea who Brandon Reyes is. So.
Absolutely, Brandon Reyes. Hey, True Ball and Excel, the sponsor of our hall here, you know, big sponsor of the LAS Classic. Actually, I think you guys are sponsoring the live feed this year is what you're sponsoring. This is the Black Eagle Conquest Competition Hall. But Brandon, we appreciate all your support of what we do here at the Classic. How come you guys keep coming back?
Well, anybody who knows us knows we started in Target, so that's where our heart is, so we continue to support it all over the world. And Bins, this is real close to home, and Lancaster Archery is one of our, if not our best customer ever, then we make a point to be here, so here we are.
Absolutely, Brandon. We appreciate everything you do for us and for Target Archery, as he mentioned, all over the world.
Heading off to end number 3 as we're at the halfway point, and it is now a 4-point difference. So now the question becomes for Pettit, just keeping focus. But Christopher Perkins took that gamble. It didn't pay off for him, but really just an extremely versatile archer over his career. As a 2011 world champion, he was recognized really as a junior archer for the Target Archery and has made a fundamental transition into 3D archery.
He's doing the right thing here. He's going to go for a 12 on this first arrow. If you're going to get back, so Jacob gives the point back, right? We have a 4-point game right now. Chris can turn it into a 2-point game. With this, he can swing it. So this is where you want to do it. First arrow, try to get Jacob thinking about it.
12.
Got it.
Yep.
Yep.
We're not done yet.
No, we're not. So now 2 points away from tying this up for Perkins.
I mean, this.
Although Pettit does have a 12 and Perkins doesn't.
Think how quick this can change. You know, Pettit could shoot a 10. Perkins shoots an 11. It's a 1-point game. We got an end to play. It's probably not a bad move by Perkins to go after that 12 last end.
Yeah, he's pretty wicked smart.
Pretty smart cat.
Pretty wicked smart, yeah.
Doing what he needs to keep his advantage. Perkins needs to match to have a chance at it.
11.
Let's hear for these archers. They're doing everything they
Here's a replay of the 12 that Christopher Perkins was able to crush. It was a bit of a long hold. He was able to get it off and get the thing in the 12 ring. And you can see it's quarter shafter.
So whoever loses this match Still going to walk out here with $2,500.
That's fourth place, 2,500?
Fourth place, 2,500. Third place, 5,000. Second place, 7,500. First place, 20 G's.
That'll buy you some cheesesteaks.
Yeah, on the trip back. Yeah, this is one of the higher paying events in archery. It's got to be right behind Vegas, actually.
Well, I'm not sure if you've heard me say this or not, but this is the largest indoor archery tournament on the East Coast.
There you go. And I think it's the second largest archery tournament overall now.
At 2,100 shooters?
I think 2,700 this year.
Oh, 2,700.
Yeah. Even at 2,100, it's still, I think, the second largest.
Well, if you add what's going on right now with the collegiate stuff, too, it's an even bigger number than that. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, what Kings of Archery. Kings of Archery is a great tournament.
But it's 1,100 or something.
Oh, yeah, it's limited by the space.
Correct. Neem is around the same, 1,000 or so. Reading has been up around 1,800. And NFAA indoor has been in the neighborhood of 2,100 or 2,200, but has not been that recently. So this is the second largest tournament in archery by the numbers of participants and by payout. Okay, here we go for Chris. Needs his 12 to stay alive.
12.
It looks about inside out.
Pettit still has a 12 at his disposal if he was going to drop a point here.
Yeah, I think if he drops a point, he just plays for the tie.
11.
Okay, so we're at a situation where no matter what Chris does, an 11 wins this for Pettit. And Chris has to have 2 of them.
11.
This is for the win. Did it.
Put it out of reach.
Got it. Yep. Good shooting by Jacob Pettit. Way to go, man.
Only 11 points left for Perkins on the board, but a 12-point lead.
11.
A good shot to finish, but boy, just one of those 10s. By the way, that arrow that we thought was a 7 when he went for that 12 was upgraded to an 8.
Oh, that kept things in play.
Yeah, but here's PJ.
Let's hear Christopher Perkins. Jacob Pettit continues to move on. He has earned the right to take on our number 2 seed from Yankton, South Dakota, James Lutz.
From Yankton.
That caught me off guard, yeah.
It's where he lives.
It's where he lives
It's
now.
where he lives. Originally from Wisconsin.
So where he's from, that's his call.
Yeah. Oh, he's... All right, so there's just like 3 people rolling out, but talk about his coach in a second. The coach is shaking hands. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how we have some of the biggest names in the world in men's compound archery are in the coach's box.
You got to give him something to do, you know?
Yeah, you
especially that Stefano Hansen.
Stefan. Another...
he likes to be called Stefano because he's got Italian family, too.
Well, I mean, that's what he told me to call him. Stefan Hansen. It's another guy who's going to be on his way to Yankton.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. One thing to look at as Pettit lines up to shoot is watch the release in Jimmy Lutz's hand.
Good one for Pettit to start. It's close, but it's there. Jimmy with the wrist strap. Whoop.
11.
He kind of pump faked that one a little bit. A lot of times with these guys, when they pump fake it, it actually is like it's going in at that point.
Yeah, so Jimmy's on a wrist strap now.
11.
He's been really working on things. Been trying a bunch of different releases, and he's for him right now, it's the best solution.
Jimmy's a really, really good shooter who he'll wear the middle out more than anybody. The outdoor games kind of favor him. The games like Vegas, where Vegas is like outdoor archery is kind of go as fast as you can, and Vegas is like color between the lines, and it's not always been his strong suit.
Let's hear from PJ.
Welcome to the Classic Final stage.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's it feel to be up there?
It feels great. You know, it's been a long time coming.
It's been a couple years since you've been up here, but you've been up in this setting before. Nerves? Do you ever feel nerves? Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're here. They're alive and well.
All right, run through your gear for us, and I especially want to talk about that thing right there. But we'll start with your bow.
Matthews Title 40, match strings, Excel sight and scopes, Excel bars, Easton arrows, 2712s, Biter Knox, and the True Ball Execute.
True Ball Execute. So you've gone to an index finger. When did that happen? Where was I?
You're here. A couple weeks ago, I just want to be like Tim, really. Like, he makes it look fun.
Gotcha. All right. James Lutz. So we got a tie match here. Oh, one of Jacob's was bumped down to a 32. So Jimmy Lutz has a 1-point lead, 33-32.
And the Tim he's referring to is Tim Killingham, of course.
So noteworthy there, Jacob's, I believe, is his first arrow. He's actually moved to a 10, so that's why we're looking at 32-33. Jimmy with the lead. Kind of back to what we were talking about before. As you said, the tournaments that are kind of more sudden death, like the Vegas, where if you miss, you're out, basically. Those haven't been Jimmy's strong points, so I think he's sought a solution to that. Maybe this wrist rocket release is the way to go for him. Looking good right now. Like this is the Jimmy I know. Like he will pound the center over and over. World Cup final this year, outdoors, 50 meters. He didn't leave the 10 ring for 3 matches. It was just a display.
Unreal.
It was a display.
100%. It was a clinic.
It's clinical.
And for me, oof. I don't think he liked just the sight picture when he released it. But if you look at the contrast and
Jacob is
styles,
called 12.
yeah, Jacob is called 12. Jacob likes to get back to draw, settle into a shot.
Yeah, very different in the style. Jacob much more methodical. Jimmy much more foot on the gas.
12, got it. All right, so Jimmy just
needs 11 to tie now? No, 11, yeah, 11 to tie.
Yeah, Jimmy just gets right back to 11. The draw stops and then sends it. As soon as it is where it is. Yeah, so for Pettit, you know, that 12 is, having that in his back pocket was big after dropping the very first point of the match. So now we're all tied up, and this is kind of that strategy that you feel. Yeah. So this is what you're talking about, Steve. It's like, what do you do if we go 33 apiece for the next end, and we get to the last end again, and we're still tied as there's 2 ends left? The game, like, what do you do? Do you want to be the last person to shoot so you have that 12 at your disposal or not?
Yeah, you want to be last.
Yeah.
The hard part there is, here's why I want to be last. Their likelihood of opening the door for you or taking the pressure away from you, I think, is better than knowing you have to hit it. If you're first, you assume you have to hit it. If you're second, you either know for sure or you know that the door is open. There's, you know, a little bit of room to breathe. So there's people who will feel that differently, but it's kind of how I am. If I'm going first and I know it's like a 1 arrow essentially, I assume I absolutely have to pipe this. And
the only difference would be if I was shooting lights out and I knew it and I was first, I'd be like, I'm going for the 12 just to put the pressure on the person behind me, which we saw earlier in the open category.
Yeah, you could do that, and then you know that you can't get beat. If you hit it, you can't get beat. If you shoot the 11, they can still beat you. So, yeah, it's going to be tougher. It's a tough choice for whoever goes first if we get to that stage. I think this is the level of shooting we anticipate. Like, we expect to see 132 or better winning these matches. Jacob opens the door. He's now called 12 for his next arrow.
He goes, okay. I gave him one. Get it back. Jimmy looks good.
Yep, he does. Jimmy is good.
He is good. And Jimmy works hard at it. Make no mistake. And Jimmy's now living in a place where you have all the archery you want in the world. Right? Nice shot by Pettit. Yep. Jimmy's just going to try to drain the 11 here again and keep it all tied up.
11.
Yeah. Statistically, though, all I'm saying is Pettit's wearing out his 12s right back here.
Yeah, they are. Jimmy's got it.
But what I was saying was where Jimmy's living now is, if you love archery, it is the best place to be in the world, right? You can shoot 100 yards indoor, and believe me, you're shooting indoor in Yankton, South Dakota right now.
Yeah, it's too darn cold. So.
You have 3 field courses on site. You have a field course that's public field course, like close to downtown. You can shoot pretty much 200 yards outdoor all you want.
Yeah.
It's a great place if you are going to be a full-time archer, and Jimmy's in the spot. So I know he's doing a lot of work, looking for a lot of solutions. I know that he was a little bit on the struggle bus when I saw him at GT Open in Luxembourg towards the end of November, World Archery Indoor #2. And so it's nice to see him working hard over the holiday season and pick up this wrist strap just a few weeks ago, and it seems to be really helping him quite a bit.
When we were talking, when we were saying Jimmy this, Jimmy that, it reminded me of the Seinfeld episode. Jimmy, the guy who
what
was going to sell the strength shoes.
That's right.
Jimmy's sweet on the lane. She thinks he's talking about somebody else. Yeah.
Seinfeld's a TV show, young people. Look it up.
One of the best ever.
The best ever. It's a show about nothing.
11.
Man, oh man.
Now, the one thing I could say is that either one of these archers is guaranteed a podium spot, but the goal is not that. The goal is to go get after Jacob Slusarz, your #1 qualifier, who's coming up next. This is the final end of the Open Pro category.
Man, the way these guys are shooting, Jacob's going to have his work cut out for him. I hope he's ready to roll. Hope he gets on the stage and feels good and gives us a good match.
Pettit's called for a 12.
11.
So this is it. He doesn't want Jimmy to be able to beat him. Jimmy's calling for it as well if he needs it.
You can hear a pin drop in here. Missed it.
So now Jimmy just needs yellow to win. Man, that's why you go second, folks.
Boom, gone.
11.
11.
Smoke them all.
Our second perfect round of the match. 30s across the board for a 132 for James Lutz from South Dakota to move on. Here's PJ.
He's going to finish in 3rd place, take home $5,000 from us, $1,000 from PSE, $200 from Gas, and $200 from Easton. That was a heck of a show. Let's give it up for Jacob Pettit. All right, so we are going to, Jimmy Lutz has earned the right to go out against our #1 seed, one of our 660 shooters this weekend from Voorheesville, New York, Jacob Slusarz.
Well, Steve Anderson, here comes Jacob Slusarz, the only one of our 660-point qualification competitors to make this shoot up in the Open Pro category. He's an ASA Classic champ, IBO World champion. But if your money was on Jacob Slusarz to be in the #1 position when this weekend started, you are a pretty rich person right now.
Yeah, it'd be a heck of a pick. He's as talented as anybody, obviously. shoots it well, shoots every discipline well. I think he just is just a grinder. I think he just loves archery. You know?
Let's talk about some of the shooters that didn't make it in here. Bodie Turner, Kyle Douglas, Stephen Hansen, Marco Bruno, Householder, Fullerton, Schlusser, Curtis Brodnax, who's on the national team. I mean, there's so many other really talented people that didn't make this shoot up that I didn't mention, of 3D fame, of outdoor fame. It's been an incredible pool of talent that we've seen shooting here. And one of the things you're going to notice about Slusarz is that his shot is explosive when it goes off.
He was on the left side of that 11 ring. He did not move his sight. So like everybody else who's come out, that left side has been kind of the point of impact before they get their sight re-zeroed for this final stage.
And this could be a match that is just decided by 12s. Okay, so Lutz choosing to go down the middle. Slusarz as well. He's not calling a 12, so we haven't seen the crazy 12 strategy that we saw last year.
Yeah, no one's preemptive 12ing.
Yep.
If that's a term.
It is now.
11, 33.
Dead heat.
Let's go to PJ.
Jacob, welcome to the big stage.
What's up, man?
Have you been up here on this stage before at the Classic?
Once before, a couple years ago.
Gotcha. All right, how's it feel?
I felt better, but I'm okay.
660 this weekend. You're one of 3 to do that. My favorite story about was that after your first 5 targets, you were clean, but you just threw it away because you thought, I'm not going to shoot a 660.
It wasn't even a thought. I mean, what am I going to do with it?
Well, great, Jacob, but you did shoot that 660, and you're here as our #1 seed. Run through your equipment for us.
All right, got the Dart and Sequel 35, gas bowstrings, B3 sight and scope, and hook mini thumb button, AAE Pro Blade, Conquest stabilizers, specialty PEEP, and Black Eagle PS27s.
What nocks you got on there?
Biter Hunters.
Biter Hunters, all right. Well, Jacob, it is certainly working for you this weekend. We have a tie match, 33-33.
Perhaps the shortest axle-to-axle bow that we've seen in these shoot-ups for the Open Pro category at a 35-inch axle-to-axle. Trying to think back to some of the competitors, you know, 40-inch to 38-inch.
That's kind of in the primary range there. It's a big 35-inch.
It is a big 35-inch. Definitely kind of one of those crossovers too, right? Like target, maybe hunting, 3D type of bow.
That one might be a little tall right there.
11,
It's gonna be a 10.
I think it's going to be a 10.
Yeah, Jimmy is shooting the same hole.
Yeah, he's wearing it out. Four-finger release.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed there is he gets a little rotation in his hand throughout the shot. I think he kind of rotates toward the floor. At least on that one, I saw a little bit of a move, I believe.
11, same hole.
Yeah.
Jimmy's bow arm is so strong. It's like he does one of the best jobs of disconnecting his bow arm from what his release hand does.
Yeah, I heard Jimmy bench presses 350 pounds. So
I've heard 355.
Yeah, I'm not surprised his bow arm is
You
strong.
guys are making it look easy.
So we're going to see that 10 upgraded or no?
That's really the big question, because this thing could be decided by that single point, or Jacob Slusarz is going to have to take a risk and go for that 12 ring.
That is a 10.
Yeah, it's breaking the outside line. That's definitely a 10.
Okay, so Slusarz is probably going to go for it this end.
All right, let's set the stage for the tension here. There's 2 ends to go for Slusarz. He's now 1 point behind Jimmy Lutz. This is the final for the 2025 Lancaster Archery Classic here at the Spooky Nook Sports Complex. 6 arrows, in regulation play to decide who's going to be the champion. This could be the last 12-arrow shot for this tournament.
You really did set the tension. You tested the tensile strength of the chord.
I did. And what's on the line, Steve Anderson? Is it $20,000?
$20,000. There's an 11.
I think if you're Jacob, and you can keep it within this 1 point, you don't need to try the 12 till the last arrow.
Yeah, I think you want to stay within 1. But I don't know, man. Jimmy's rolling. I would think I would assume that I'm going to need to get 1 and 1 more.
Don't forget, Jimmy Lutz, there's diaper money on the line.
Yeah,
You know,
I know how
that's,
that is.
That's a big
Yeah.
motivator.
Shout out to Danielle back home, holding it down in Yankee.
Absolutely. Tip of the cap to Nell.
And of course, little Talia, who's destroying the diapers. Really good in for Slusarz there. Jimmy to match. God, man, Jimmy, look at that. Look at that.
It's unreal.
Look at it.
Yeah, I am looking at it, Steve. I'm looking right at it. I'm watching TV like the rest of us. So there's only one end to go, and it looks like 1 point. This is what Jimmy did, right? Just kept working the middle out.
Just getting it. This is a format that favors him. Right? There's no worry of the finality of a miss in Vegas. Like in Vegas, you miss on the first day, you got 3 days of just being there for no reason.
Yeah.
Here, it's not about the death of a miss. It's about, I'm going to wear out this middle. And that's what he does.
It's true. And I think that's also the strength of the outdoor game you were talking about in target. So far, the world record in target is 72 arrows, is 718.
Yeah.
So you can still miss an arrow or two
Yeah.
and still be on top of the pile.
Right.
But then again, in that format too, it's qualification. It's not the final. And this is where Jimmy Lutz really accelerates, I think, is in these head-to-head match play.
Yeah, he'll give you all you want, and then if you can match him, he's not going to back down from that.
Oh. So your #1 qualifier, the only archer in the top 8 to shoot a perfect 660.
Whoa! He did it.
Hits the 12 right out of the gate.
11. I think Jimmy will shoot the 12 to finish. I think he'll do it.
I think that Jimmy is going to settle with a tie, and I think he's going to shoot the top target first.
11.
You might be right. If it was 1 arrow closest to the center to decide, I think he wouldn't.
11.
He hit the button. Steve was right. He hit the button. Steve's always right.
The man's a gambler. He's not a total degenerate, but
he's got diaper money in the bag. It's
yeah,
just more
there's
diaper
7,500 per second, so ain't a thing.
Here he goes. Whoa.
That flips it. That's a 1 point win for Jacob.
What?
He called the 12, he shot at the 11, he hit a 10.
We are sitting here with the crowd completely and utterly stunned.
Yeah, that ended in a way we did not expect. Jacob's your Lancaster Archery champion.
Wow, that is amazing. And as the stun wears off and we wait for those scores, it's going to be Jacob Slusarz. And Slusarz got that 12 confirmed. So it's going to be a 132 to 131 victory for Jacob Slusarz, and he will be your 2025 Lancaster Archery Classic champion in the Open Pro Division. Jimmy Lutz put on a heck of a show, and I don't know if it was a decision that couldn't be made. Maybe he was going for the 12 or 11. Either way, he shoots his first 10 in 24 arrows. And Jimmy Lutz, on that 1 point, finishes second place. Here's Jacob.
It's pretty good.
That's awesome. So, you know, last year you really hit your stride in ASA. Here you come winning the Lancaster Archery Classic. You're just firing on all cylinders.
It's just working out. I'm shooting good. That was that was as good as it gets right there in the finals. I really thought I just waited too long to make the move. Shaking a little too much to get too crazy there. No.
Got the 12 when you needed it.
Yeah, it all worked out great. I couldn't be any happier.
All right, Jacob, congratulations. One more time, let's hear it for our 2025 Open Pro champ, Jacob Slusarz.
Wow, what an incredible tournament. Steve Anderson, your final thoughts.
It was a lot different from last year, right? We saw a much different approach by the pros. Still exciting in its own way, kind of a stunning finish, but you know, that's archery.
That is, and that'll do it for the 21st annual Lancaster Archery Classic from the Slusarz Sports Complex here in Mannheim, Pennsylvania. What an incredible 4 days we have had here in 2025. We can't wait till we see you at this tournament in 2026. Until then, have a great one.